Mm. Hi everybody, good afternoon and mabuhay. This is Salokot Niwan and I'm actually I'm the one who's taking over Kapaholics Instagram page, and this afternoon I get to interview um, L'Amour Supreme. Just waiting for him to be available on this particular chat. Let me check real quick. Oh, sorry about the shakiness. Yeah. So, hello everybody, and just wait on a little bit for, as you can see, I prepared for this special day. L'Amour Supreme also. And you might later you might notice that my kid will be barging in every now and then, as the current situation worldwide is actually more on stay at home, so you get to hear him barging in and out. He is quite fond of going into my cap room to inspect on me every now and then. Oh, there he is. So uh, let us I'm quite excited with this as well, because we get to know him better. I get to know him better. Hi, and mabuhay from the Philippines, Lamoy Supreme.
Hi, what's going on, man?
Well, I'm staying at home.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
Same.
so
Mabuhay. Kumusta kayo?
yeah, yeah. I was talking to some of the viewers right now, because my kid is actually coming in and out of my craft room today. But let us get started. Actually, I don't have any particular questions prepared for you, as I would want our viewers to get to know you more, because I would want to get to know you more. Okay. So
Oh,
my
cool.
first question is that, since that you are quite famous with the Mishka fans like me,
Mm-hmm.
um, you get to design this particular cap yourself, like
Yeah,
coming from this one you watch.
I designed that cap, that eyeball that's on your face mask, and the shirt that you're actually wearing.
Yeah. So, what's the reason behind this slight modification from the usual keep watch that was designed on some of the Mishka cap and shirts? What's the
Uh,
reason behind the skull? I want to know more about what how you conceptualize this particular design.
well, the Keep Watch was already created by Mishka. I think by the time I got on, it was just released, the standard Keep Watch eyeball.
Uh huh.
And then I started working heavily with Greg and Mikhail, who are the two co-founders of Mishka, and then they asked me to do my version of it. So
Oh,
that hat is like my version of the Keep Watch eyeball. It's almost like the second version of the original.
I see. So,
So
but the particular skull, I've seen this with some other Mishka cup as well. Did you get to design this as well? The skull?
so the skull is actually Simon. It was
Ah,
our
Simon.
mascot, Simon the
Okay.
Cyclops. Um,
Psycho. Yeah.
So it's basically like Harryhausen, like kind of like horror movie, old monsters of filmland kind of character. That was basically just like a skull cyclops. And then, when I came on Mishka, I like heavily went hard into Simon. Like I just kept developing, the cyclops skull more and more, and I just did more and more designs using the cyclops Simon skull.
I see. And just to know, this particular, because I see that on the regular keep watch they have a similar design with the underbrim. Is this part of the version, your version too?
Yeah, I drew that as well too.
Oh, nice.
The
So,
skull, the caps,
mm-hmm,
the cap carrier for New
mm-hmm.
Era.
Oh, that's good.
I
Really?
design yeah, I designed that. You
Oh,
see
nice.
you see the Simon skull behind you. That I guess it's the Kubrick
Yeah,
toy.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
I drew that. Um,
Oh, nice. I
so
didn't
yeah,
know that.
yeah. I mean, I was heavily involved with Mishka for the last, I'd say, from like 2006 to, I mean, up until like a year and a half ago. You know,
Oh,
um, So it's kind of like me and Greg were good friends, and we became good friends, and I just started doing so much work with them, designing toys. The first bootleg toy I designed, I sculpted that myself for Mishka
Mm.
back in the
Okay.
day. But yeah,
Mm.
when they were opening the store in Brooklyn, my
Mm-hmm.
friend John Prawley, who designed the store, was like, "Hey, do you want to paint the wall in the Mishka store? And they don't have any money, but they can give you like clothes." And I was like, "Sure, why not?" And then
Mm.
I started doing that, and then I just was like, I was like just presenting ideas, and they were just like, "Go, go, go, go." So it
Mm.
was just like kind of like it was kind of like a big collaborative effort from back in the day.
Mm. I see.
And
And then,
me
mm.
and Greg always went to the trade shows or like um, events, and like me and Greg were like the kind of like the brand ambassadors for Mishka for a long period of time.
Mm.
So I got to travel the world, because of
That's
the
very
brand.
nice.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. So,
but yeah,
so with Greg, are you since that geographically you are in Brooklyn right now and he's in LA? Was it
yeah.
like that before? So you guys met up in where? Where did you guys met up?
So we met up in Brooklyn. Greg was living in New York for a long period of time, like over 10 years. By the time I met him,
Oh.
well, not 10 years, probably like 8 or 9 years. He's been living in New York, and
Mm-hmm.
then probably almost like 4 or 5 years ago, Greg moved to LA
Okay.
because we had an
Oh.
LA store as well too.
Mm.
So we had
I,
the LA store, and Greg was like, "You know what? I'm just going to move to LA and
mm,
kind of like help run the store and run the company on the West Coast."
mm, I see. And in for you in particular, since that Greg mentioned you're Filipino, you when was the last time you have visited Philippines?
I was like 9 years old.
9 years old. Oh,
Yeah. So
so uh-huh.
that was a long time ago because I actually just turned 50 tonight.
Oh, oh, happy birthday.
Thank
So
you.
you and
At
Greg are
midnight.
on the same birthday? You and
We
Greg?
have Greg's on the 27th. I'm the 28th.
Oh, that's a, that's really a nice day for you guys to celebrate. I mean, one day apart is
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
happy
Me,
birthday.
me and Greg have a lot. Me and Greg have a lot of coincidental similarities,
Mm-hmm.
which is probably why we were like, we became good friends like right away. Same taste
Mm.
in like, collecting stuff and like
Uh,
art, you
uh,
know. And then we did a lot of art together in the kaiju sofubi scene.
mm. And since that you mentioned that you were like 9 years old when you moved away from the Philippines, are you
I,
based where usually? I mean, when you were
I,
in the
I live
Philippines.
I live in Brooklyn.
Oh no, when you were 9 years old,
Oh yeah.
in the
So
Philippines.
San Andres, in
Manila?
Manila. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So
nice.
my mom is from there, and
Mm,
we went to go back to visit my grandfather, who was actually like dying at the time,
No, that's
and
so
then he
bad.
passed away while we were there. So I got to attend the funeral, and it was a really nice trip. But I haven't been back since. I've been talking to do you know DJ Big Boy Cheng?
Yeah.
So I've been talking to him. I met him at the last Five Points Toy Festival,
Uh-huh.
and he invited me to do a show at his gallery space in the Philippines. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just a matter of like coordinating time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, since he's busy, I'm busy. It's kind of like you know figuring out a time when we be just a good time to do it.
Yeah, that probably if you come to the Philippines, I'll be there too.
Sweet, yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Very cool.
I'm yeah. So so now can I say that you are still well versed in Tagalog or
I understand Tagalog, but when I was growing up in the Bronx, my parents spoke to me in Tagalog, and I spoke to them in English. So I
okay.
lost a lot of Tagalog because of that.
Mm. Okay. So professionally speaking, what are you doing right now? Since that based on Wikipedia or Google, you're described as being a contemporary artist. In your
Wow,
own words,
wow.
yeah.
Am I on Wikipedia or Google?
I googled you, and that's what came out. So
Really? I
based
didn't
on
even know that. I never Google myself, so I don't even know what's on there.
so because the thing is that I would want to know you more, and I would like to get it out from your mouth. How can you best describe yourself professionally? Are you a painter?
Um,
Are you an artist? What can you
I
say?
mean, more than anything, I would like to describe myself just as an artist, you know. And I know that's such a weird title
Mm-hmm.
because I do so much under that umbrella. Where
Mm-hmm.
people always ask, like, "Oh yeah, but what kind of artist?" And I'm like, it's hard to describe because I do, you know, it's like I do everything from street art to designing streetwear to painting on canvases to
Uh-huh.
illustration. You know, I design so many different things that it's hard to kind of like say, oh, I'm a streetwear designer or a creative director or a street artist. I don't like all the labels. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because as an
Okay.
artist, you should be versatile. You should be able to do
Mm.
so many different, you know, wear different hats in that field.
Yeah. It's
Plus,
like,
it's boring to do the same type of art every day.
oh,
You know,
I
so I
see.
like to do different things, whether it's like painting in Bushwick or designing a clothing label for Element Skateboards or Mishka or whoever. And
Mm.
I think it's better that way, you know, to keep it kind of like obscure, a little mysterious, to make people
Mm.
think of like, oh, what does this guy do? And then they discover all the things that I've done, and it's kind of like a black hole
Yeah.
because there is so many things that I've done that's like it might not be like in my, you know, um, what people think that I do.
Yeah. Basically, I have no idea on other things that you have done, except for the fact that I'm wearing and have collected much of your uh, things with Mishka, you know. So
Yes,
the thing is that, yeah.
that's the beauty of it. It's like you discover that I did that, but then you also discover when you start digging deeper, like, oh,
Mm.
he also does the Czarface stuff. Oh, he also
Mm.
works with Element Skateboards. Oh, he did a bunch of stuff with Fool's Gold, or like
Mm.
album covers and street art. Or the Japanese shifubi toys. It's like there's so many different things,
Mm.
and it's almost like I'm building a fan base from all
Mm.
these different demographics
Mm.
of that type of art or that genre of art.
Mm.
So like
And mm.
I wanna conquer the world. No, I'm kidding. I wanna I wanna have different fan bases because like I
Mm.
feel like I don't know, that's the way you build a fan base. It's kind of
Yeah, I
like,
think so.
you
I
know,
agree. I
you
agree. Yeah, I definitely agree. I at least come to think of it, this will be the first time I get to interview such an artist as yourself. And to think about it, I just got to know you quite recently. And I'm really curious. What's with the name? Why would you name yourself L'amour Supreme? Can you tell us more about it?
well, I kind of wanted to follow the footsteps of Imelda Marcos when she says, "When I
Okay.
die, don't
Uh
put
huh.
my name on the stone. Just write
Mhm.
here lies love." You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I'm like,
Yeah. Okay.
yo, that's a flex. That's like a serious like flex right there. Imelda Marcos, wherever you are.
Funny story is that when I was in Hawaii and I was asking this Filipino dude that if he's where he's from, he's actually letting me know that he's from Ilocos. I mean, he's Ilocano. So are you Filipino? No, I'm Ilocano. It's the same joke over and over again. So basically, what?
It's like in
Yeah.
Spain, right? The people in the Basque country don't consider themselves Spaniards because they consider
Mm-hmm.
themselves a different country. Um,
Mm-hmm.
in the same way, my heritage is from the north of the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad's side was all from the north. They were like Marco
Mm-hmm.
loyalists. You know what I mean?
Oh,
They had land. It's kind of like plus my government name is actually Ferdinand.
oh, I see.
So it's
So,
like, I mean, I was too young to remember any of that. You know what I mean? So it
uh-huh.
really wasn't. I didn't really know it because I grew up in the States, and it wasn't a thing that I fully understood. The only thing I
Mm-hmm.
remember going to the Philippines and I became a fan of was those toys that were
Mm-hmm.
robots. Remember those?
Mm-hmm.
And it was the
Yeah.
time that they stopped, but they were still playing Voltus 5.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that? Like Voltus
Yeah.
5 was huge in the
Yeah.
Philippines when I was a kid. And then when I
Yeah.
left, they banned it. Ferdinand Marcos was like, this anime shit is like corrupting the minds of the youth, and the kids came out and protested. But
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's all I really remember from the Philippines. And like seeing Balot for the first time, I was just like, what is that? Like, no, I'm good. I'm good with my regular eggs. But it's kind of like, as far as culture goes, I mean, like my aunts still speak Filipino, you know what I mean? They speak
Uh-huh.
to me in Tagalog, and
Mhm.
Christmas is in a big VFW hall because my family's so big. There's like no
Mm-hmm.
house can hold all of us in one party, so you have to rent a
Mm.
hall.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's Filipino families.
Yeah. Okay. So with regards to the art that you have made throughout the years, where do you get your inspiration from? I mean, um, does it change throughout the decade? That since you're 50 already, do you realize that throughout the years, throughout the decade that you have been designing things and such, do you realize that your team has changed, or is it still the same? I
Oh,
mean, where
it's
do you
always
get
changing.
inspiration? Oh,
I mean,
okay.
it's always changing. I mean, the stuff that even within Mishka, if you look at like the stuff I did with Mishka, there was so much stuff that changed throughout the
Mm-hmm.
years. It wasn't always one thing. It was so
Mm-hmm.
many different things. I mean, that was Mishka too. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why we aligned.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your
And
son
when
wants to
can
get
we
on
expect?
camera.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry
Put him
about
on.
that.
No, put
It's
him
like
on.
saying something. Yeah, yeah. He's like talking. He's a big Mishka
Hi,
fan. Hello. Yeah.
hi. Kamusta?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, and he's like 3 years old and still has to build up some words. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the thing is that most of my Mishka snaps have been uh, I have bestowed to him because my head is really quite big and most of the stuff
So is
is
mine. Yeah,
yeah.
mine too.
Oh,
Like me and Greg actually have the same head size as well too. It's like 7 and 7/8.
oh yes. I asked him the same question like when we were doing live. I think he's an 8. So basically we have one size apart. I'm 7/3.
Wow,
You're
you have a big
7/7/8.
head, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your head's
Uh,
bigger than mine.
yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
rare. It's
Yeah.
very
So
rare.
quite difficult to find, even on resellers and eBay, when I have to find some caps from Mishka related. I'm really having a hard time getting caps. And speaking of caps, are there like a future projects again with Mishka that is going under for this
Yeah,
year or next year?
well, the thing is, like, Mishka was basically like, well, the Chinese distributors basically took over Mishka,
Mm-hmm.
and Greg's still running it on the West Coast and the American side, and it's I'm still doing projects with them, but it's not like it was before in the sense of like it was basically owned by two guys, so it was like a small
Mm-hmm.
company, and
Mm-hmm.
we had a kind of like a warehouse in Brooklyn where we had a design staff, and it was
Uh-huh.
kind of like we could just do whatever we want. It's not really like that as much, because like Greg's running like the graphic end of it in the West
Mm-hmm.
Coast. So I mean, I'm still doing projects here and there with Greg, but and I always will. Like me and Greg are homies, but like for the most part, it's just like I got a couple of collections dropping with Element Skateboards. And I don't know if you're familiar with Czarface, the rap group.
Mm.
So it's basically Inspector Deck from Wu-Tang,
Okay.
Esoteric, and DJ 7L from Boston. And,
Mm.
I started with them while I was still with Mishka. Like I created their first album cover and kind of
Mm.
co-created the look of Czarface. So I've been doing that with them, and
Oh.
started the merch branding with them. So I did
Mm.
there's a whole line of like clothing with
Mm.
Czarface now. Starting up my own companies as well too. So I've been kind of busy in that sense of like
Mm.
doing independent projects. you know.
Mm.
So it's hard to figure out like what I'm doing at the moment because it's so all over the place. That's
Okay.
why I think my fans are kind of like always watching because they always want to know like, oh, what's the next thing you're doing, you know?
Mm.
So I mean, it's interesting. Like, I just designed also this clothing brand, Billy Hill, for this dude, White Trash Tyler, who just did the
Okay.
documentary, the Travis Scott documentary.
Oh.
He did
Okay.
the Cactus Jack video.
Mm.
Um, you know, and I got homies all like kind of like in the scene that I work with all the time as well too.
Mm.
So,
You know what?
you know,
The thing is that since that it has been open recently that you're a Filipino, most of the other Filipino collectors like me will get in touch with all of the things that you're saying right now. They'll be
you
searching out your artwork. They'll be trying to research most of the things that you have done throughout the years, things and that. You know,
you know
like money.
it's so funny because like you know when I was with Mishka, like a lot of my friends would go to the Philippines and
Mm-hmm.
have art shows. Like these are my
Uh-huh.
contemporaries. These are my peers, like Tara McPherson, Buff Monster,
Mm-hmm.
Skinner. And I'm like, you know what? I'm Filipino. Why isn't anybody from the Philippines contacting me? They just like slow to the take of like who's Filipino and who's an artist, or like, you know what I mean? Like no one knows I'm
Yeah.
Filipino.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you know, to be honest, like who cares?
I'm really sorry I had a bad connection. It seems that the weather is um, having an effect on my one of my access point, and thus I had to disconnect it and restart it all over again. But anyway, I would like to thank in advance again Greg. Happy birthday to him, and also happy birthday to L'Amour Supreme. Um, I was interviewing him earlier. Like, oh, there he is again. Okay. Be. I'm really sorry for having disconnected earlier. But anyway, I'm inviting. Hi.
Sorry,
Sorry, I
I
got
don't know.
disconnected.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
it's like the,
anyway,
but yeah.
so it's really quite hot here in Manila right now. It's like more than 40, I think, 42 or something like that. So
Oh
anyway,
wow.
yeah. So as you were saying, most of your friends were like going to the Philippines and nobody is inviting you. The story goes.
Yeah, it was so weird. I'm like, do they not know? Like, I'm Filipino. I'm an artist. Like my friends. Like, do they not? But it's kind of like, you know what? I have to go back when it's the right
Mm.
moment or the right time. So I'm like, I'm not stressing it. I know I'm going to be back at some
Mm.
point. So whenever that is, it'll happen.
Yeah, I'll be one of those that be printing out most of your artwork from here and there, and then putting up in a streamer or something like that when you come by. But anyway, yeah, it's really nice to talk to one of the one of the greatest artists I would say because I've seen some of the caps that you've designed, and it really take much. I mean, those things behind me are one of the things that I look forward to in collecting. In fact, I only have four of your caps, by the way, and I think I'll be looking for more of those throughout the years that I'll be collecting. So I
Cool.
would like to
Thank you, man.
thank you. A happy birthday today on your
Thank
50th
you, guys.
birthday.
Thank you.
So it's really a tremendous honor for me to have interview you in behalf of Capaholic,
Yeah,
and
you're
we
the first Filipino to recognize. Actually, DJ Big Boy Cheng recognized
uh,
first, but you're the second Filipino. You're the second
well,
Filipino fan.
Greg. Yeah, yeah. All thanks to Greg. I mean, we didn't even know that you're Filipino. So now that you're established, I think most of the other Filipino guys or artists will be able to get in touch with you right after this because I'll be blasting it out here and there to one of much of my other Filipino artist friends also. So,
Cool. Yeah.
maraming
Yeah.
and
Salamat.
I really appreciate
Maraming salamat.
everything. Yeah, the stories that you have told with us today, and we're looking forward to more of your projects in the future. Okay.
Cool.
So,
Thank
but
you,
for
sir.
now, yeah,
Peace.
thank you once again. So, maraming salamat like once again. So, bye bye from the Philippines, and hope to get in touch with you
Stay
when you
safe.
come back.
Yes.
Okay.
Take care.
Okay. So, bye bye.